Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. This is a Honda TRX300EX. I got it a while ago, and I guess it was a garage sale situation. It was lying kind of in the bushes, and I asked how much, and I paid $350 for it. I was told it had no spark, and I kind of got it home and realized it had, some issues, and I think I got it started, and then I kind of put it aside. It was just kind of lying in the bushes at my house now. This particular quad belonged to a crew we affectionately known as the Trailer Park Boys. And they were fairly well known for kind of riding about and being popular. We'll just stop there. Anyhow, once I got it in here, because I've been pushing to get this particular, all my, 250Xs and 300EXs running, once I got it in here, you go through the normal routine. I took the spark plug out, and I found there was kind of water dripping off the end of it, and I'm like, oh boy, that is not a good thing. So the next thing I did is I tried to bump the electric starter with the jump pack, and it would not turn over. It just, seized. The engine was just seized. So I left the plug out, and I put various forms of oil in there in the spark plug and let it sit for a little while. Then I put the transmission in fifth gear and kind of rocked the tires back and forth with it in fifth gear. And then gradually the piston became loose and the cylinder bore, and it moved a little bit and then a little more, and as I'm turning the tires, I'm kind of trying to get some momentum and then some momentum the other way, and I managed to get it to turn over completely. So I did that a few times, got everything, got it back into neutral, and I hit the starter and it turned over. At that point I did a compression test, and the compression test came in low, lower than I thought it should. So I took the caps off and adjusted the valves. The intake valves were too tight. There was no play in the linkage, so when they were supposedly closed, if the linkage is too tight, that holds them open and you lose some of your compression. So I did that, and I'll show you now. So the compression came up to just slightly over 120 psi. You guys could see the carburetor is off of there, so nothing should be holding the compression back. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the carburetor on it, and we'll give it a start. I had done all these little sections in separate videos, and I put them all together and posted it last night, and it got flagged for AdSense not suitable type flag right away, like instantly. So I took it down and I rewrote the description and all the tags and all that, figuring maybe sometimes you use a brand name of something and that'll trigger it, or you can describe certain tools, and they don't always like this, right? you if you put a space between those two words, they don't like it. So, you know, I figured out, well, maybe there's something silly like that that's causing me a problem. So I took it down for a second time. Well, I put it up and they flagged it for a second time. So I took it down. Then I put it up and left it in private for a while with no tags on it. Then, you know, the next time I put the tags on it, you know, I was super careful with the description and the tags. And as soon as I took it from private to public, they flagged it for a third time. So basically, this is a remake video, and I apologize that, you know, it's a little bit disjointed, but you know, hey, what they want, and us, you know, contributors or whatever we're known as, we got to do what they want. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the carburetor back on this thing, and we'll give it a quick start so you guys could see that this thing has come back to life. And once again, I apologize that we missed a bunch of the intermediate videos. So what I've done is I have my portable CDI here, you know, 12 volts worth of batteries, GY6 CDI unit, nice switch for turning it on and off, and the coil that matches that CDI unit. So anyway, I put that on. To make this go, all you have to do is get a signal from the pulse generator and hook up ground. So every time the flywheel goes by, it pulses, triggers the CDI, bumps the voltage up through the coil, and puts spark to the engine. You need ground to make the pulse generator work. The signal has to come in between ground and that red wire. You also need ground to make the spark work, otherwise you don't get all the energy out to here, right? So all this is all hooked up. The carburetor's on there. That's a PZ27 through an adapter that I made. I'm powering the starter directly from the 12 volt jump pack, and here we go. I only have a carburetor worth of gas, so to speak. I don't have a gas tank. You guys can see it starts, it runs. Let me idle it down a little more. The engine sounds good, no timing chain noises. No bad sounds. So I think we're all good. I think it's probably running a little low on gas at this point. But even idling it way down, oh, we're getting a little something out for the exhaust as it warms up. So probably just ran itself out of gas. So there we have it. I was lucky, very lucky with this engine. I mean, if you weather sees them, you could still pit the bore and you know, damage the rings, and you know, they could be rock solid seized. They could be you might have to take them apart to get them unseized, and even if you do unseize them, if the bore is damaged, if you have pits in the bore, then you know you're going to buy a new jug and everything else. Also, when you weather seize them, the valves could seize up. And then, should you get the piston loose without taking it all apart, if the valves are seized open and the piston goes by, that's not good for your valves. You can end up bending them, damaging them, and then you got even more trouble. So once again, I was very lucky with this. you know, it could have easily been a you know, an engine that I did major damage to or completely ruined, right? So I'm lucky. About this engine sounds pretty good. Actually, it sounds really good. And I'm beginning to lean on this bike is really good cosmetically, but the engine has timing chain noises, and we'll drag it inside and get this one fired up too, so you guys can hear those. I'm leaning toward I might just take the engine off of here, put it on there, and that way it's complete, and that one's complete. Then this one, take that parts engine and figure out what I'm going to do with it, or quite honestly, this might just become a parts bike. I don't want to sell off any of the parts because other than what you see, I mean, I have mostly complete stuff, and if I could get something in parts, it might just help the other projects move forward rather than, you know, taking forever to move them. Anyway, I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Let me know your thoughts. I want to thank everybody for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please remember to keep your feet down, keep your heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.